Welcome to our webinar on export market attractiveness. Thank you for being here. I would like to talk to you today. We would like to talk to you today about this very important topic in exports, how to select your future export markets. We have designed this webinar for small and medium enterprises. We hope we are going to enjoy it. So let's go for it. What's the objective for us? We would like to share with you some insights on how to conduct market attractiveness studies, how to do your market selections, and how to do your market research. As well, we would like to present you some very nice, effective tools for small and medium enterprises. So our key discussions and key topics of our webinar are risk management through international market diversification. As well, we would like you to share with us this moment about the importance of market selection and focused approach in international development. We will share with you as well some techniques on how to conduct market selection and market research, and we will present some reliable and accessible tools, as we think. So maybe what we can do right now, we can take some questions, okay? And then afterwards, we will let Miles and George just say a few words at the end. Okay, there is a question from Jim. If I question something in the report, is there a way for me to get more information or clarification? Yes, if you are on our platform, you have the access to chat with a consultant, or you can contact us on our email, which is contact@primetarget.tech, and we will give you all the detailed information you have in the reports. If, however, you are not happy with some of the data, we can once again call you and discuss what kind of other data could be more relevant for you to be considered for international development. We are trying to provide tools. Yes, they are software as a service, but we are people behind it. We are customer-centered, and everything you have, any question you have about our services, we will try and and help you and guide you through this very important decision to select the best markets for your company.
Oh yeah, we have one from Christopher. What other factors or data points should SME companies look at when deciding between different new markets? So I'm going to take this from the high level sort of strategic point of view, where we started just filtering out from market sizes, then going to competition, then going into country specific market sizes and competition in each of those markets then. So once we've gotten to that point where we were at, where we started to look at ethical genes as an opportunity in India, we still have a whole number of questions we need to start asking. The first thing I would go into straight away would be to look at a current per capita spending on apparel and footwear, then per capita spending on jeans, and then forecast per capita spending on the category overall. I would probably then compare that to a quick overview using economies and consumers data, which Euromonitor also offers, to look at the potential size of the lower income, middle income, higher income markets. That would be specific to this product because of the fact that jeans are a extremely widely consumed product where we are trying to promote a strategy to get consumers to be willing to trade up on prices, but I need to know, can the market support a product that is extremely premium significantly, or am I going to have to also enter with something at the economy level as an entry type product, and then possibly have a higher level premium version of my product at a mid-range price or premium price, depending on what I can actually offer. So I would then start to break apart how significant is this potential market of ethically focused jeans buyers in India that I'm going to be targeting. After that, the other consideration I might start to make is a quick analysis of the biggest distribution channels for the market, it could well be that the way distribution works in that country, through department stores, through apparel and footwear specialists, online, it might just be entirely unsuitable to my company and to what we can offer, or as opposed from being unsuitable, it doesn't fit well with our skills and capabilities. So we could be an extremely well talented store specialist who's great at providing a great in-store experience, but there aren't a series of platforms in the country for me to do that. We just don't have the experience of department stores. So I want to compare those factors. And those could, of course, be potential opportunities to launch something new, or it could be something to avoid, in which case we start the process all over again and choose the next market.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, thanks, Miles, for answering that. I wanted just to add about what you mentioned before during the presentation. You spoke about the fragmentation. And so basically, it's about market concentration. And yeah, these kind of indicators I would use as well, because it talks the less concentrated the market is, the more easier for SME to enter and develop there. And then as well, regarding the distribution you have mentioned right now, yes, when you in the case of Cuyana, we spoke about we took into consideration distribution because they distribute, they sell online. But if you do not sell online, obviously it's very important to understand if the distribution, how many retail stores are available in the countries. As well, in terms of distribution, with Euromonitor, we have access to data about the retailings, how many stores, how many sales we have through online sales. So all this data is important and relevant for companies to take into consideration before they go abroad. So I have a new question from Anthony. Anthony is asking, do you also do market research about expanding in Africa? Yes, we do. As you know, Anthony, Africa is a very difficult continent for market data, but we do have data for a lot of countries, and thanks to our partners, data partners, such as Hofstede Insights, as well such as Euromonitor International, we do have access for market data, market sizing, and the predictions, and as well the retailing in a number of African countries. So we are certain that we can help you. There are no more questions. Maybe Miles, you can say a closing word.
One thing I wanted to end with was just to keep in mind that we try to approach any of these market entry style products, like kind of projects, from as detached and objective a point of view as possible. So we always like to assume that we are working with, all possibilities, all potential options, and start from a total comparison of all global markets, all potential categories, and start drilling down to start then targeting opportunities. And that kind of approach, supported by data, is something that we think is extremely critical and is missing not just from SMEs, but from some larger enterprise clients, yes, where the approach to looking at targeting brand new markets has traditionally been, as Joe brought up, quite relationship-based and often isn't using the data available to start making choices and analyzing risks. So this approach we brought up here was a really sort of textbook example of starting with the total global size and regional trends, and then filtering down to an opportunity that is totally devoid of our initial biases and just using the data. And that's an approach we take very serious at Euromonitor International.
Yeah.
So
thanks a lot. Guys. Joe, maybe you can say a last word?
After 20 years of exporting, equipment around, many parts of the world and everything, it was really intriguing when I learned about Prime Target is because it wasn't just data. I could go get data from government. I could get data from different sources and everything. But then it was like, what do I do with that data? What does 13%, as Miles said on that one slide, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything to me. And the interesting thing was that I had an outside opinion of it. It's not that I had to agree with it, but it was being able to get other opinions outside of my little cubicle, let's say, okay, to be able to gather from and pull from. And it was more about the questions that I was raised from reading the interpretation of the data than it was, because I really wasn't sure what to do with the data. I mean, and I think that's what happens when the one question that I do have, and I think that we should address a little bit, is that, I'm looking at government data. I'm looking at 2015, 2017. You even pulled from some of that old data. But how current is some of this data? I mean, how quickly is Euromonitor and Prime Target, how current is their data? Is it more current than if I go to a government source, or is a public institution going to have more current information? Can we wrap up on that?
Yeah, so I'm happy to take that one from Euromonitor side. So each of the consumer goods projects we do is updated annually, where we add an extra year to the forecast period and an extra current year. So we've just finished work on apparel and footwear 2020 that does the forecast through to 2024 and adds current market sizes, current market shares for 2019. The projects themselves available for access on our passport system, updated each year, and then throughout the year we will do quarterly updates to the forecast. So those are becoming extremely important when you consider facts like Brexit. So as things change there, those dramatically that kind of affect our quarterly projections. And then throughout the year, between each edition of the project itself, we will then be publishing a range of content. So country reports, regional briefings, global reports, where we're doing lots of this strategy work, talking about how do certain trends affect growth in future. But we're updating our work every year, so it gives people who are trying to make some longer term decisions more frequent data updates to use in their strategy kind of work there.
Question, Joe. Me too. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Miles. So regarding Prime Target, our tools, they are automatized. So regarding the data that we have in each report, the data is different, if you remember, and a lot of that data is pulled at the moment when the report is generated. So if we talk about World Bank, or as you say, as the public domain data, we are always going to make sure we update it on the monthly basis. So this is the first answer to your question. And regarding to other data, such as social media, such as Comtrade, for example, the exports, such as the customs rates, the duties, everything is at the moment the report is generated. This data doesn't lay in our database. We are a solution, software as a service, as we said. We are connecting to the databases and we are pulling the data at the moment, so the freshest it exists. So yes, for Euromonitor, they update the data on a yearly basis, and we are confident and we are sure there is no more fresher data than that. But there is additional data which we pull and we connect every time at the time of the generation of the reports. And on our reports, on each page, that's why you have different dates on each part of our reports. Because, for example, even for exchange rate, we said that we are trying to measure the risks. If you measure the risks, you need the data, as fresh as possible. So that is why the data we have in our reports, sometimes it's pulled at the day of the report. Thank you, Joe, for this question. Excellent. Okay, so maybe what we can do now, we can say thank you for attending our webinar. We would like you to go global wisely.